go. She's on 5 to 7, 9 to 10 p.m. on the Range Broadcasting Fallback Productions. Talks about topics of the day and loves her country, the U.S. of A. Got her Get Right rally on tax day. Got Family Country Trump is her thing. She don't know the songs, gives Dave a hard time. Don't worry, it's fine, he's still her Valentine. Keeps us in the loop, don't you know? Sit back and enjoy the Lucretia Hughes Show.
I hope y'all did you see what I saw? What's up with the gold fringe on the flags? Doesn't that mean that we're in... Okay, somebody tell me that's in the military that actually understands that so I could explain it to me. But welcome. I wouldn't do this in the middle of the day. Y'all know I wouldn't. But with something this major and breaking in the news, besides Pennsylvania is going after forensic audit itself, that popped in. Also, the Haiti's president down there was assassinated overnight because they got tired of being oppressed and he was ruling by decree. But the breaking news today, at this point, that I think is significant is that we are going to join a class action lawsuit. I'm just saying because it is a class action lawsuit. Way to go, Trump. Way to go. And then Jim Jordan just reported while President Trump was talking that the Republicans within Congress is trying to amend section 203, which is kind of giving them immunity because they are taking away our Constitution and Bill of Rights. I kept telling y'all that was a soft run last year. So people that don't know the Constitution, this is what they're trying to get rid of. For the people that don't know the 5 things that we are protected, that is given to us by the First Amendment. This is why I'm very adamant about the foundation of our nation, okay? It says Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or oppress or of the right of the people to peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Now, you know how I usually work, but I don't want this to be a 2-hour segment, so I could break it down. The First Amendment of how they snatched that away. Each and every last of the 5 things that are protected by the First Amendment of the United States Constitution was snatched from us last year, and especially since this 201 that Congress gave them all immunity or certain established rules. But the way that they are doing stuff, and I'm talking about the Jack Dorseys, I'm talking about the Mark Zuckerbergs, I'm talking about YouTube and the rest of them. Like I said, I screenshot everything. Anytime that I've ever been demonetized, deplatformed, put in Facebook jail, was hacked, was warned, had a strike. If you go to my page right now, Lucretia Hughes page, you'll see a yellow strike because they said I was sharing partially false information. But when you go back a month, because I don't post nothing false on my page. I try to get different sources that correlates with each other, and I'm getting it from their lamestream media network, and I'm throwing up the articles. So that's not false information. So my page have a strike. I got the Natler. You remember when Natler said that we don't have to worry about God? That was partially false. You remember the John Sullivan, the one that was paid by CNN and everything for January the 6th? I got a strike against that. Well, it came out that he actually got $90,000. Shocker. No, it wasn't. It was the truth. I have gotten strikes. You remember, because I am one of the 44 people that are petitioning the federal grand jury about this election fraud. I got strikes against that. How many of us got banned or our video snatched down through the scamdemic? So they was touching on all of these different examples where the kings of the galaxy has snatched away your freedom of speech, has snatched away government authority, and there's no way in hell that you can ban a sitting president of the United States and you don't think there's going to be repercussions of coming and consequences. See, most of us grew up knowing that we needed to hide the belts and the switches if we did something that foul. That's foul. And now you have in the African countries booting out all this big media. And once I found out that Facebook actually paid millions of dollars and dibble-dabbled in Georgia's election. Oh, it's out there. Everything that I will report on is out there. Big tech companies gave different states, and especially the swing states, a lot of money, especially for the drop boxes. Exactly, especially to make sure that everyone, if you even dead or if you're alive, because I was hearing that even children in elementary schools was getting voter registration forms to see if they wanted to vote, mail-in ballots. That's out there too. So big media companies, the Dorseys, the Mark Zuckerbergs, have been dibble-dabbling not only in our election, but elections around the world. You could take it back to Bibi Netanyahu in Israel, but this has been going on for a very long time. So I said it then, this is why DeSantis signed the piece of legislation to give us the ability to take them down. And now, because if you remember, and I'm old enough to remember Microsoft, I am old enough to remember the monopoly, all that stuff they was going through during the Senate and the Congress. I remember how they tried to break apart Microsoft at that time. I don't have to, we all about old enough to remember that. But I'm also remembering seeing Mark Zuckerberg in 2018 sitting in a booster chair in front of Congress trying to explain why he was squashing our right and freedom of speech. You are a social media platform. You're not a publisher. Because if that's the case, you misrepresenting your platform. So you don't get to pick and choose. Yes, there's a lot of mess on Facebook, but what I post isn't against community standards. Those porn videos, those sex trafficking videos, those kids are out there that's getting raped. Those go against community standards. But when we report stuff like that, they stay up there because it don't. But that is why Florida and a federal judge last month decided that yes, Facebook has to take account and they should be sued for everyone that can prove that their video or video of them being sex trafficked, being raped, being beat up was put out there on Facebook. They was asked to take it down and they wouldn't. So all of these children, little boys, little girls, men and women that has been child sex trafficking, that has been, and knowing that Facebook has made money behind this. Also Twitter, because there was a war over there on Twitter where John Doe and his mother, a little boy at that time that was getting sex trafficked, had videos of all of this in porno videos, and he was underage, and it was floating all around Twitter. Him and his family asked them to take it down once he was rescued out of that situation, and they didn't. So they went up into the halls of Congress to ask them to do something about social media. So now we're seeing Hong Kong step up yesterday and saying it's getting ready. You can't do this anymore. You're not finna data mined our citizens over here in Hong Kong. So now to this morning when I woke up, Twitter and Facebook has decided, yeah, we might just go ahead and bye, because they don't want you over there anyway. Nigeria did the same thing. There's countries all over the world that is stifling a big tech media reach. And I think, and I appreciate the President Donald Trump for giving us the ability to do the same with this class action lawsuit, because there's a lot of us that's been targeted, especially on the right side, that we don't no longer have the voice or the platform we used to. But everything that they're spitting out there, they do. So let me go ahead and pay attention to y'all. That was a long, I didn't even say respect yourself, but that's not this type of show today. So let me go ahead and say this. Hey, Sherry, it's like the good people are bad and the bad are good. Everything is going backwards. 2 years ago, I said the same thing. Y'all remember when I was in that closet? When I was in the closet. And I said, why does, to me, it seems like they're trying to take everything that we was raised on, everything our grandparents taught us, everything that we was taught, and trying to flip it around like our grandparents was up to no good, like our parents was no good, that everything that they taught us to be godly, be manly, be womanly, to be a great citizen, to get out there and work, do what you got to do to become an American and live that American dream. So why are they saying, you know what, your families was wrong, listen to us, we was right? Why your grandparents was racist, even though they might be biracial and had to fight all that in the 60s and the 50s just for your love. And now we're seeing it with CRT in schools. When you got biracial children, it's going to have to pick between their mother and father. And they was ridiculed if they don't. I read that article last night. It's on my page. Enough of this foolishness. And it's time for the right people to step back up in the forefront, because all this stuff of compromising our morals and values got to stop. And that is why we have no control in the street. It was by the grand scheme and design. That's why we have no control over children, because you know what? Don't worry about that. That's being desensitized. That's why our children are dumb as rocks right now, because they are telling you, because you are black or brown or a person of whatever, that you know what? Don't worry about your child learning to read, write, or do math. You know what? We'll give you a paycheck and they'll just sign an X right here. I wasn't raised that way. What I remember and what my fathers and my grandfather and my grandmothers taught me is that black people couldn't read or write. We had to sign our name with an X. We had to take a test before we can vote. We couldn't even sit at a lunch counter. We couldn't even share the same bathroom. So how in the hell am I finna listen to a millennial try to take me back there because they're taking their cues from the people that were supposed to be in the civil rights movement in the first place? So all these millennials, these college graduates, and everybody else that's telling a person like me that was born after the generation that fought against all that we need to go back there. My mom's still here. She still bears the scars of not being able to sit with her friends. She still tells me the stories, and I can still look over my shoulder and see my slave, my last slave. So these millennials and trying to pump it out there because you've been indoctrinated in college, that I'm wrong. I'm going to tell you, you're wrong. You haven't even sniffed my drawers to be able to tell me how to live my life. Hey, Marita, I don't know how dumbed down my 19-year-old was until he started homeschooling. I'm hearing horror stories from people and parents allowing their children to spit in their faces. Who are you? You raised that child. You stayed up at night. You put your hand on their head to make sure they didn't have a fever. You changed those diapers. You worked all those jobs. You stayed up all those hours. You sat by that hospital bed. And you allowing your children to call you a white privilege? Or you were no good? Or you this, that, or other? Just take your hands off of them. Since they want to be millennials and they think they run the world, do you force them out there in that ugly, real, cold reality that they are faking the funk about? Because when they get out here, they ain't going to know how to handle it because you didn't train them to. Didn't. Because I wouldn't be seeing 13-year-olds and 12-year-olds shooting cops. I wouldn't be seeing 10-year-olds robbing the stores. I wouldn't be seeing people just running in a store and running out of it and people just standing around doing nothing. I wouldn't see videos of people getting raped on the street in broad daylight in New York. And I wouldn't be seeing a dumbass like Cuomo to give us the murder law to start killing children hours before they're allowed to be born. And people are, you kidding me? We need to God from the country back. I don't know what this newfangled society is, but they are dumbing you down and making sure the people that wants to protect the elderly and the youth are deplatformed. And you know what? If I could, and if I can, and I'm going to do more research, I got the receipts. I got the screenshots, I got the warnings, I got everything from Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Y'all just know I just did a stint from for a whole week because I showed a Trump rally off YouTube. I got shut down. You think I am not finna bring that up if I'm allowed to get in this class action? You know the hoops that I had to jump through just to get videos to be played in my shows? Do you know what it takes to be monetized? Do you know what I had to go through so I could talk about politics? I got one of those things that I can put an ad out there, but I guarantee you 99% of y'all cannot put something publicly up about politics in an ad because it would shut you down because you ain't jumped through all the proper and necessary hoops to prove who you are. But I can. So I have jumped through all these hoops to do all this stuff on all these social media platforms, and because I share something that they put out there, I get shut down. Do you know what? I'm willing to help President Trump take them on, because that's awful. And there's a lot of y'all saying, girl, I just left a 45-day stint. For what did you do? You called somebody a dumbass. And do you know what they call us? Do you know how they've been spray painting people's houses? Do you know how they've been terrorizing people? Harass them, surround them, attack them, taking their cues from the people that sits in the halls of Congress, and you sitting there trying to placate and say that President Trump has something to do with January the 6th, when you got Kinzinger, who's a sitting representative, and I kind of feel like a lot of us up here already knew what was going to happen, but we got the proof in the pudding with that when the Capitol Police Chief actually resigned from his position because he asked 6 times for extra security, and Nancy Pelosi and Bauer said no. And you talking about that's an insurrection, but you won't say nothing about Portland, Oregon, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Georgia, Texas, or any other major city that there's blocks of buildings and businesses that are burned to the ground that would never return. The hypocrite is, I'm so over it. So, yeah, like I said, he talked a lot today. I'm going to do a lot more research after I go take my grandchildren to this birthday party so they can have a great time. I'm going to recenter myself as they slipping and sliding and jumping and having a great time. I'm going to really delve into this to see what stipulation needs to happen for anyone else that's ever been in Facebook jail, ever been censored, ever been shut out, ever. I'm going to find out for all of us. And if you've ever, and you got the cojones, I'm looking for the real people. If you got the cojones to stand up for our nation and to stand up for yourself, your children, and also your parents, then I'm going to need for other people to do exactly what everyone else is getting ready to do. Enough is enough. And this is our call. Everybody want a call to action. You got one of the biggest ones right now. If Joe Biden and his administration is telling your families, the ones that hate your guts because you love God, family, and country, and you believe in Jesus Christ, and President Trump is the rightful president in this year of 2021, if he's telling them to snitch on you, I think it's time for you to play tit for tat. It's either that or, literally flipping over tables and chasing people around with a whip. But now, like I keep telling you, since the progressives love the courts, since the Democrats love the courts, since they always like to sue people and shut them down, now we just got an opportunity to do the exact same thing to them. Because like President Trump, he been right. He told you so. They were going to raise your taxes. They're going to dumb down your children. They're going to make sure they flood our nation. Inflation's on the rise, but you saved 16 cents over the holidays if you was allowed to have a cookout, if you was allowed to have fireworks, if you was allowed to wave your flag, if you was allowed to leave your house. If that is. So.
And if you bought chips, you might save
Chips. Let's not even get on potato chips. I thought y'all heard that French fries are racist. It's redunculous. I'm just redunculous. Redunculous. Trump class action lawsuit on big tech. Thank you, Paul Wall. I'm mad at you. You tell me when you go on vacations. You was not here yesterday. But don't worry. Amerifree and Black Mamba held your ground. This is what Paul Wall, you got an article? Paul Wall just put this up here. President Trump to announce lawsuits against Twitter, Facebook, CEOs at Wednesday's press conference. Yes, I just played the whole press conference. Let's get to this one. Twitter permanently suspended a then President Trump account due to the risk of further incitement of violence. A lie. Keep going. This determination is based on a number of factors, including President Trump's statement that he would not be attending the inauguration for being received by a number of his supporters as further confirmation the election was not legitimate. Okay, and what the hell they got to do? Okay, keep going, Curtis. I will. The statement continues, the use of the words American patriots to describe some of his supporters is also being interpreted as support for those committing violent acts in the U.S. Capitol. I'm an American patriot. I'm a nationalist. I'm a black nationalist. I am loyal to my nation. First, and before anything else, before the New World Order, before Zimbabwe, before even Hades, I'm a black nationalist. I rock the red, white, and the blue. That's what that means. I am patriotic and will swing that flag all day. And then on that same day, because I got so many political people on my page to sit here at my house, because I already told you I had invites like ousted yin yang to be up there January 6th. It didn't feel right, didn't sit right. The intel I was getting, it wasn't gonna go right. I'm gonna sit here. I'm fine. Everything in my power is telling me no. I'm gonna sit here right here at home and I can watch it and just pray, because what I'm hearing, it ain't gonna turn out good that day. That's I try to tell y'all, but then I'm sitting here and I'm looking at my Facebook page, and all I'm seeing from Republican establishment is to blame Trump and Trump supporters for whatever that was, except up there in January the 6th. Y'all didn't wait 10 minutes. You immediately, I'm talking to the rhinos right now, you better drop your head in shame. I told you I wasn't gonna forget about this. I told you I was taking names, and a lot of y'all are sitting in office in Georgia on the Republican ticket, and you sat there and you blamed Trump, you blamed a person like me, you blamed anyone that voted for Trump for what was going on in Washington, and you think we supposed to kiss and said, take your, I told you I wasn't going to forget about it. I'm going to start throwing those names out there for every establishment rhino that blamed Trump supporters for that happened on January the 6th without even giving it 24 hours to breathe, when it came out that there was black people in black changing into patriotic gear that was literally escorting them into the Capitol. And now you're trying to, I ain't going to forget that. And that's why I can't stand y'all. The establishment rhinos, I know, I told you, and when y'all did that, you ain't no good anymore. You jumped on that bandwagon so quick, and then to see that silver coin be passed to Mike Pence, it's too much water under the bridge to even try to walk any of this back, to say that you supported Trump, you supported this or that, because y'all have opened y'all mouth a little bit too much in the last 5 months to let us know that all y'all, majority of y'all been never Trumpers. You've been compromised. You sitting there laying in the bed with the Democrats, and you won't fight back for the constituents of Georgia or for the constituents of America, no matter what state you are. And then the people that actually get out there on the forefront, the Marjorie Taylor Greens of them all, the Matt Gaetz of it all, the Ted Cruzes of it all, and the Jim Jordans, they didn't start having backup until they realized that Trump support is even stronger than ever, and more people left that bandwagon. So now you got the Kevin McCarthy's trying to get on the good foot. We over that. There is so much water under the bridge as we sitting back as American citizens watching y'all compromise our morals and values and the foundation of our nation. Yeah, so we're going to get on to that. Yes, we are. So I got to leave here in 30 minutes. There are 4 children in there that I hope is dressed and ready to go. And if you got more information, we'll talk about that later. And then don't forget about the faith over fear. Do you see this? This is faith over fear. All this stuff that's been going on, you need to get the spirit of discernment, or just cut off lamestream media so you can dissect it, research it, and come up with your own conclusions. Because I ain't trying to persuade you to do anything. I love to do my shows. I have a passion for it. But my motto is, don't believe anything I have to say. You do your own research and blow your own nose wide open. Because you can't call me a liar. I have the articles to back me up. Everything that I say. And if I'm wrong, I will say I'm wrong and get the right information. But this tonight's show is exactly show 941. So if someone's getting here and trying to debate me, this is not high school. This is reality in my real damn life. I know what I'm getting ready to fight for, and I know what office I'm particularly thinking about running for. I'll take those cojones. I'm a female, and I'm willing to stand up in the gap for a lot of dang on people, and especially for my nation. Is that a announcement? No, not yet. But I'm just letting them know. Get ready, get ready, get ready. So let's see what happens. I will see y'all back here at 5 o'clock. Y'all get me these articles out here. Y'all let us know what y'all want to talk about tonight. And again, do your own research. Do your own research. So y'all have a great day. Holla! Faded to black.
We want all children to have the opportunity to know the blessings of God. And we know that families and churches, not government officials, know best how to create a strong and loving community. We will not allow the government to censor sermons, to restrict the free speech of our pastors and our preachers and the people that we most respect. And above all else, we know this. In America, we don't worship government, we worship God.